Hi, I'm Chris Januszewski, and welcome to the Rebellious Times Podcast. Today we've got Chuck Reynolds with us. He's CEO of Technical Systems Integrators, asset orchestration and automation solutions for test, labs, and infrastructure. How are you doing, Chuck? Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, I'm just over the moon. I just turned into a grandfather this week, so I'm really ecstatic.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's amazing. But little bundle of joy there. Have you got a boy or a girl?
I got a boy. Eli is his name, and he and the mom are very healthy and going well. So it's great.
Well, that's wonderful news. And wonderful news. When are you able to get over there and meet the little fella?
We're leaving November 5th. Her mom comes in today or tomorrow, and she stays for the first week or so, and then we got the second couple weeks of duty. So try to
Well,
get the
wonderful
new
time.
parents.
Best wishes to the mother, and I'm sure everything goes fantastic. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing for you to enjoy. Um, but today we'll be digging in a little bit. I think we've got some really interesting perspectives here, especially around the concept of AI with ROI. Right? Everybody's trying to figure out how to build AI into the business and build businesses around AI. But how do you make money? But before we get to that, love to hear a bit about you, your journey, your engineering background, and your evolution to where you are now.
Okay. Well, born and raised in Baltimore, got a couple different scholarships and different places to go to school. Ended up going to Duke University. Kind of designed a different degree that didn't really exist back then, something called computer engineering. So it was kind of double E with computer science. So I actually built a curriculum kind of on my own for what I wanted to do. Ended up going to what's now Lockheed Martin, designed uh, nuclear missiles and the test equipment for nuclear missiles. Did a lot of stuff with Hewlett Packard, the instrument company of Hewlett Packard back then. They were one of the leading industry leaders in just innovation and how they did things. And went with them, spent several years there, got my master's in engineering management from FIT down here in Florida, and then went with some different startups in the printed circuit board CAD space, and then decided to go out on my own and start a systems integrator solution provider company selling printed circuit board design and chip design tools. Did that for a number of years, working with companies like Mentor Graphics and Synopsys. They got out of the reseller solution provider business, and we pivoted into automation, and now pivoting into AI automation, what we call automation intelligence, the AI with ROI. And
So it sounds like you've worked on some incredible projects there. Just,
we did.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about the whole nuclear testing thing. I know back in the day, apparently they used to actually test nuclear weapons. You see these videos of these big explosions, I think somewhere in remote parts of the Pacific. Do they still do that? And um,
Not really. It's really done in the simulation world now, right? Big industries, big labs like Oak Ridge National Labs, Lawrence Livermore, Sandia, they run large simulations to make sure that our nuclear arsenal actually is still viable, right? Because we don't really test nuclear bombs, so to speak, anymore, because they're pretty devastating. But you still
you
have to
still
make sure
have
that if we decided to push the button, will the thing actually work? And some of these are pretty old. I was responsible for all of the airborne cards in a missile called the Pershing II, which was actually outlawed during the SALT treaties with Russia. There's only one left if you walk into the National Aeronautics Museum in D.C. and you look to the left on the front door, you'll see a Pershing II and an SS-22, which was Russia's equivalent. And I had all the airborne control systems and stuff to test those things and make sure they were correct back in the
okay.
day. So
Interesting stuff. Yeah. Well,
it was. I learned a lot. I learned in 1 year, just 1 year's worth of work there, because we worked 80-hour work weeks, and learned a ton. I learned more in 1 year than I did in 4 years in school, just because of the opportunity and what you had to work on. Quite a bit.
Well, it looks like you've brought that engineering expertise into the automation world now. Tell us a little bit about which kind of customers you serve and what type of projects you work on.
We work on basically anything that a keyboard and a mouse controls. If you properly do it, there's a lot of grunt work in the world, right? If you look at just an example, one of the blogs that we do is how far does your mouse travel in a day? Did you ever think about that? Well, it can travel pretty far. You're actually can do miles of travel with your mouse, and can you automate that, right?
Actual miles. My word.
Yeah, actual miles, right? So we did a blog and we did a study and we actually tracked how many miles your mouse travels during different exercises, and then how you can automate that and decrease it by orders of magnitude in some cases. So all of our engineers, we handpicked them to be automation gurus, not necessarily uh, subject matter experts in any one thing, but the ability to apply their automation audit, if you will, and skill set towards the mundane tasks. And AI is certainly coming into play now, right? We started doing our AI work a couple of years ago. We started investigating and building some rather unique methodologies around how to use AI. We call AI automation intelligence, and it's the AI with direct ROI, right? A lot of artificial intelligence things that people are working on don't have a demonstrable ROI. Our ROI is literally in some cases 2 orders of magnitude better because we're actually doing the metrics on how well we do the automation and how much time it saves a company. We've been doing this for military and governments. We do it for different governments in the world. We're doing it for our military. We do it for large companies, the Apples, the Netflix, the Verizons, the Ciscos, the Junipers, those kinds of companies that we help automate. We do it for DISA, the Defense Intelligence Security Agency. Defense, yeah, I think that I always forget the acronyms. There's so many in my business, but we've done some pretty amazing things for our government and other governments as well.
Interesting. And so with prior to AI, automations, you write the right code, you write the right workflows, you implement it, you're a good idea, you're going to get the output you're looking for. How do you um, ensure quality in layering in AI to these automations?
Well, that is the trick, isn't it? It's the methodology and how you guide the AI. We've done a tremendous amount of work putting guardrails on the AI so that it understands what we're doing. For example, we use this language from Keysight, their eggplant tool called Smart Sense Talk. And inside of Sense Talk, it's a very specific type of language, and we built a library of handlers around that technology. And we have to put guardrails on it because the AI will, it's trying to write sense talk, and all of a sudden it'll just throw Python at us, and we'll say, no, 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 we don't want Python, we want sense talk. So you have to build these extreme guardrails on the AI to guide it so that it makes the proper answer. I mean, it'll throw Python out there and it'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put Python in there." And you're like, "No, no, get rid of the Python, go back to what we told you." And you have to iterate through that. So it's a matter of teaching the AI exactly what we want as well, and then maintaining those guardrails. But once you do that, the documentation, the reuse, the speed, all of those things are orders of magnitude faster than manual methods. And, we're just doing some amazing things, amazing metrics, automating stuff that really takes a lot of time and doing it. And, instead of 2 weeks of effort, it's now 1 hour or 2 hours of effort. It's amazing.
Fantastic. Um, how do you get your name out there? It's in a very competitive space. There are a lot of companies trying to, different approaches to AI automation. What's your approach in terms of go to market?
Well, we have a couple different ways. One, word of mouth, and we have excellent customer and validation support, right? So, both my partner Greg and myself came from Hewlett Packard, and it was basically the customer would ask you to jump, and we just say how high, right? That was our way of approaching things. So we do unbelievable service. So when people leave one company, go to another, they call us, right? So that's number one. Number two is we do a lot of content generation. So we write white papers. We develop new technology based on the customers, and then we take that to events, different conferences, and we present those white papers. We exhibit at those particular conferences, and that's the way you get access to people, because you can't go into the NSA and say, "Hey, who is all the people doing this?" No, you can't contact those people. They have to come see you, and that's pretty true of every business today, because everybody's way overbooked, right? They have too many things on their plate. They don't have time to really go out and understand the market and understand the value. So once we do find somebody who has the problem that needs automation, we typically do a proof of value, a proof of concept, which we can rapidly do because of our tools are so good, and they demonstrate the value right out of the box. So it kind of makes it idiot proof for the customer to buy, because we've demonstrated the value in their environment, right? We can do POVs in a day or 2 days, which pretty much blows away a lot of what the customer's expectations are.
So you're leveraging this unique content, position yourself as an authority. You find the prospect that has the need, and then you can quickly spin up a proof of concept and demonstrate the value.
Yep.
Um,
We
yeah,
also do one other thing we do is we do joint webinars with some of our product vendors. We do joint webinars with Keysight. We've done it with Curtiss-Wright. We've done it with Quali. Some of our big vendors. We do these webinars with specific, educational things, right? So that we're teaching people how to do things, so that people want to really sign up and check it out.
right. Brilliant. So you bring a lot of expertise there, and that really powers your approach to engaging and building relationships. Tell me a little bit about working with government sector businesses or government sector or institutions or organizations.
Well, the government, you have to have incredible patience, right? Our tools are not inexpensive, right? The value is there, and the ROI is usually a magnitude or more. Uh, but to get started, you have to make a real commitment. You have to make a commitment by management, by the engineers, by everybody, or it won't be successful or as successful as it could be. So, average sales cycle could be 18 months, right? A lot of times we come into a customer and they have no idea that our capability of technology exists. So we have to educate them. Then they have to go, okay, well, we need this thing now. Now we have to go budget for it because we didn't budget for it before. So the sales cycle can be rather long. Things like the continuing resolution, the government shutdown, in the government sector just slows things down to, it's going backwards, not forward. It's really ridiculous. We do have big contracts, and they are still in place, and we are still working through them and getting paid on them, because they are critical infrastructure stuff, like all the IT networks for the Department of Defense. That can't be furloughed. That would not work. So our people and our engineering and our tools are used to keep and maintain those things and test those things and keep them up and working properly. So we're in good shape there from that perspective.
Okay. In terms of, you talked about the need to educate. Obviously, few people understand the possibilities of the tech that's coming through now, and so there's a need to educate on what's possible and how you can address these challenges that they previously maybe didn't think were solvable. How do you, from a business perspective, structure this whole educational piece? Do you have a whole kind of department to that works on that, or
Well, we have over 80 some odd man years of experience in our staff. So our people know our tools, our solutions. One of the things we do is we offer a free infrastructure workflow evaluation audit of your lab or your infrastructure or your platform. And we actually produce a thing called a lab maturity model index. It's a 1 through 5 number based on how automated you are, right? And we go in and we do that for free, and we kind of, educate you, okay, and say, all right, here's the things you could automate. Here's the value and the benefit that you would get. And then that usually leads us to a proof of value or proof of concept engagement with the customer. But you got to get them to do it. Some people just say, well, we don't have time to even do an evaluation. That tells me that you're not automated, right? You're not very well in there. Companies like Cisco and Juniper are, level 4 or level 5 maturity. They used our tools and they've done incredible things with it. When we first got involved with the Department of Defense, they were zero point 0.5, right? They were just horrible. And we've gotten them up to about 2.5, which is great, They will never get to 5 just because they just can't get that level of automation going within their grasp. But 2.5 is a lot better than 0.5, right?
What scale are you using here? Is this your own scale?
This is our own scale. We call it a lab maturity model index. It's a 1 through 5, 1 being not very automated, 5 being the ultimate automation.
What do you see? What's your vision for the industry? Obviously, there's only so many businesses you can serve and so many organizations you can serve yourself, but many companies need this. What's your vision for the adoption in the industry, and where are we headed with
I
automation?
I think automation intelligence is still a really large growing industry. Think about it. Think about the stuff you do on your keyboard and your mouse that you say, "Gee, I've done this 50 times today." Just logging in with passwords and stuff, and if you could automate that, or you know, um, we even simulate users, right? So for testing purposes, right? I want to simulate if I'm doing a cyber exercise for the Army. I have to have defensive people and I have to have offensive hackers, right? So we can replicate with automation a real hacker. We look at what a hacker does, we capture that, and we automate it, and then we randomize it and parameterize it so that it looks like a different person and it's indistinguishable from a real hacker. So just that concept itself is pretty amazing, that we can do all that with AI. So when you think about every application that needs to be tested, every user interface that needs to be tested, as companies do new releases of software. I mean, if you look at what Amazon and Oracle and those and Apple and those kinds of companies, they do incredible amounts of testing. Look at the Orion space capsule, right? There's 3 big displays in that thing going back to the moon. Every time they do a new release of the software, they want to test it and make sure they didn't break anything. That's a whole testing automation environment right there. And we do those kinds.
Incredible. So, um, there's another subject I wanted to touch on that is kind of close to my heart. Switching gears slightly, you've been married for 44 years. And so I always love to hear a story like that. Obviously, there's a lot happens in society today. Things don't work out for everybody. But I'm about to hit my 10-year anniversary. You've hit 44 years. What's your secret to being married for 44 years?
A lot of compromise. I have a wife who's was a senior VP, sales and marketing. I learned a lot from her. She's a much better salesperson than I am. I'm the technical guy that's learned how to do that, but she has an EQ that's off the charts, and I think EQ is actually more valuable than IQ, and certainly in the business world and the sales world. Um, she's an amazing lady. She's a perfectionist. She sets the bar very, very high, and that keeps me motivated to try to get to the bar. I can't say that I've ever gotten over it, but I try to get to it. She raised 2 boys while being a VP of sales and running offices in New York and DC, and enabled me to start a business on my own. Um, Wonderful mother, a wonderful wife, so much smarter in so many things. I just can't tell you enough about how great she is.
Wonderful. I love that appreciation for your wife. And yeah, I have a similar experience. My wife is a perfectionist too, and I generally don't hit the bar, but I think over the years I've got a little closer. I don't think I'll ever get there, but I think she definitely makes me a better person. And on the EQ side, I think yeah, well, I'm learning every day.
Me too. It's a lifelong battle to, to get there.
Brilliant. Well, it's been great talking to you. I really appreciate you. You've got this deep technical expertise and you've shared some really fantastic insights on automation. So thank you so much. And I wish you the best of fun meeting your new grandson. Um, and let's catch up soon.
Thanks very much, Chris, and look forward to listening to some of your other podcasts as well. Thank you. Great work.
Cheers.
See ya. Take care. Bye bye.